Create Camp is our version of a hackathon. It's a weekend-long event where we invite the brightest and best of New Zealand's tertiary students to get together for the weekend, and we try and give them an experience that's sort of like working life. So they get together in teams, they are working on a project and are hopefully going to deliver something by the end of the day on Sunday. And they have all the usual kind of angst and frustration that you get when you're working to deadlines in teams, which is very similar to what life is like at work. So yeah, it's just a really great opportunity for employers to see students in action as well. So the team dynamics and who are the leaders and who are the people who just quietly get stuff done. So we have a lot of mentors who come along to help out the students, but they're also kind of scouting out and making sure that they have their eye on the best talent as well. What is your name?
My name is Bill.
Okay, hi Bill. And you work for
Pushpay.
I'm Bridie.
And whereabouts do you work?
Vet Radar.
Here I am with
Michael Zito.
who works at
Timely. I'm Simon.
Oh, okay.
So,
and so Tisk. Yeah, good. And who do you work for?
I work for Lineates.
I'm here with Oliver, who works at
Pushpay.
And what are you doing giving up your weekend here at Create Camp?
Because I think it's important to prepare the next generation of engineers, give them a chance, give them a taste of what it's like once they finish a degree, and also it's a lot of fun.
I'm here because quite a few years ago I was an intern myself. Summer of Tech gave me my first big break, gave me my first corporate job, so this is my way of giving back.
Really helping out students is amazing. Giving back. I was an intern 2 years ago, 2018. I went through Create Camp myself, and found it to be really rewarding. Having done a degree where there wasn't much in the way of group projects, it was really nice to see what it's like to work with other people.
We're developing something called Tidely. It's an app that helps track the tides at various beaches around New Zealand. So for instance, if you're going for a beach walk or if you're trying to release a boat into the ocean and you don't know what the tides are like at the beaches near you, you can simply type your beach into Tidely and it will tell you exactly what the tides are like for this day or any other day.
So our team decided to go for something we all have, which is money. If you've recently needed to exchange money, but had no idea where to go to get the best rate, that's exactly the problem we're tackling.
My name is Martin Goldstein. The goal is to design an app that can help any person. In our case, specifically to university female students that want to reach a place from A to B and want to feel safe, and if possible, wants to do it with a walking body.
So our team name is called Crayon with a K, not a C. And then our problem is we want to solve where we can find coffee within the budget and also within the location in New Zealand.
My name is Bucketed, and our idea is Bucketed. It's a web app where our target audience is travel enthusiasts and their problem is that they are unsure where to go and can't remember where they want to visit.
What we're making is an app called Sloshed, which is designed to help people on their nights out. Now, the whole idea is generally that if you're out, you're perhaps on the town or looking for a liquor store, that will help you find bars, clubs, that sort of thing as quickly as possible.
Our idea is that with COVID and everything that's happened, a lot of New Zealanders got out and about and were walking around New Zealand and experiencing their local parks and whatnot. We wanted to create a system that would essentially give a catered experience to that and would help you find local kind of spots and parks and whatnot.
Our idea is we're doing an app where you would compare trade prices of a specific product with retail prices of that product.
So we are team Aotearoa. At the moment, tourists and even locals are not being involved with NZ tourism, so we want to help this reinvigorate the industry. So by building a simple web app, that will promote the community involvement and make domestic tourism more accessible and viable to the New Zealanders.
This is Team Windy Sales. So we're trying to connect YoPros with local cafes, restaurants and experiences.
This is not your first Create Camp.
No, it is not.
Why do you come to Create Camp?
I just really like the vibe. I've done a couple of different hackathons and this is a very different vibe because it's got quite a strong mentorship focus.
I think it gives such a good experience and it's such a stress-free zone. You get to be open to new technologies, no pressure.
Today, in my entire life, I haven't worked with such a great team before.
Yeah.
We are communicating really well, we are brainstorming, there is no one that is right or wrong. We are all contributing the best.
A lot of the people I'm talking to are actually putting up roles that I'm interested in, so I can have a quick chat about it, and they get to see what kind of person I am, and they get to see how I work under pressure.
And one last thing, what tips would you give your future manager on how to manage you? So imagine you get an internship, what tips would you give the person who's responsible for mentoring and sort of looking after you?
I think just openly and honestly respond to my questions because I am a person who likes to ask if I don't know things, or I like to clarify what is out of my scope and what things I can do. So if you see that I'm getting stuck at something, just guide me and don't give me the answers. Let me think a little bit, and then if I can really start, just help me.
I guess the first thing would be having a strong first couple of days, right, when getting the interns in. Get all the interns to know each other because you're all coming in at the same time, so you know each other at the same experience level. So having that sort of friend group vibe among all the interns.
And you have been a supporter of ours for a long time. This won't be the first year that you've taken interns. Have you got a tip for new managers of interns that they should maybe be thinking about as they bring on students?
Well, what I've found works best is to bring an intern into an established team. So if you have a one-to-one mentor-intern relationship, the growth of that intern is limited to what that one mentor can do. Whereas when they've got a team to work with, they can bounce ideas off different people and also get an idea for how different people have different ideas.
Giving as much support and time as you can. As a mentor, I think it's quite hard to continue doing your usual work while having someone to mentor as well. It can be quite intimidating being in a workplace where everyone's working hard and it's your first job. So definitely just lots of support.
So we're here with ANZ today, one of our amazing sponsors. ANZ is our platinum sponsor and Broddy. This is Emma and Ash, and we're going to ask them some really hard questions today. So, first on my list of awesome questions is, do you have some top tips for students wanting jobs?
I think the top tip that I can give to students, especially if you've got the likes of Ish and I from like big organisations, come talk to us. It's not hard, we're not scary.
You don't bite?
We don't bite often. But we'd like to meet you. We'd like to actually understand kind of what makes you tick, and we're also interested in kind of what's driving you, and we want to get the right people to answer.
Yeah, adding on to that, conversation is the only way you do that. Conversations are worth 1,000 virtual interactions, like one conversation, and where you really get to know who you are.
It's more than a CV.
Which is why I guess meet and greet is such a really important thing for you guys, eh?
Yeah, we love meet and greet.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to flip that one on its head and ask you to share your top tips for employers that maybe haven't joined Summer of Tech. What would you say to them? How to help them maybe?
I think the first and foremost is do it. Like the actual Summer of Tech process is seamless. You have a great time, we work with great people. I couldn't rate this more because we've had the best talent come through Summer of Tech through this process.
Awesome. Trust the process, building on that, just trust it. It might feel a little uncomfortable, like waiting for office day and coming to giving up your time to come to these events, but it's really worthwhile doing, and have fun. Like we have a lot of fun doing this, and all our people from all our teams have a lot of fun, so it's just a really great thing to be involved in.
You guys feel like you bond with your team a little stronger when you do stuff like this?
Very much so. We're a strong team anyhow, but coming together because we're looking for the right people for our team. We're committed to this.
That's a lovely answer. Right, on that, why did you sponsor Summer of Tech?
I'm passionate about it. I came through an intern program, not Summer of Tech, but an intern program, so I really value bringing people in and giving opportunities to people to have that. So sponsoring Summer of Tech allows us to do more of that and be involved in it more, and be a sponsor of it. Lets us go, hey, we do it, and role model our own values, I guess.
Yeah. And also people who work at Summer of Tech are awesome. And so we feel that we're just part of the larger family, so we're working together to get the best outcomes for the students. So it's not like we're coming along with all these gifts, it's like we're working together to make this work.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we feel the same way. It's nice to even get down on the grind and work with you guys and come up with creatives and do campaigns and stuff like that. It's super fun for us too. So.
And you make it easy for us.
Yes, we like easy.
Awesome. Okay, so to the nitty-gritty. What are the roles that you have available this year, and where are they? Just so there's some students out there that might want to have a look.
This is my favourite question, almost my favourite question. This year we've gone big again, and this year we're including Auckland. So we've got Wellington roles and Auckland roles, and we've also got pretty much any technology/digital kind of role you can think of. We've got developer roles, data roles, business analyst roles, security analyst roles. We're a bank, so if you like security, there is a lot of work in that space, and it's really an interesting space. Things in data, again, bank, lots of data, lots of exciting stuff. Production support, testing roles. I can't even remember how many there are because I've lost count, because they just keep on coming. But I think our latest count is at 24 or 25.
Well, you can find them on the platform anyway. Super exciting that there's so much variety. I think you guys were saying something before where even if you get into a role, it doesn't mean that you can't learn about it.
So yeah, we've got, let's say you take a UX design role and you're put into the UX design Centre of Excellence, but let's say you're really interested in development and mobile development. There's no reason why you can't talk to us, and we'll organise for you to go spend a day or a couple of days with that team and that experience, so you get that cross-skilled approach and just get to try things out.
Awesome. So ANZ, big tech company, really? Lots of different options and variety of things to do and learn. Huge thank you to ANZ for sponsoring Summer of Tech. Look, we couldn't do things like this without you. We've put so much time and dedication to it as well, which it's just awesome. So big ups for ANZ. Thank you very much. Woo.
excited. That's good to hear. There's two of you excited people out there. Alright, take a seat. There should be plenty of seats. Just wait a minute or two for some last people to come on in.
Is that the mic? Yeah. Okay, then. I don't think so. Hi, Jordan. I don't think so.
Okay, the hour has arrived. It's classic, it's like church, no one wants to sit up the front. There's room up the front, especially for your mentors. No? Room just here? Okay, hi everyone. Just as a reminder, I'm Trent, I'm part of the Summer of Tech crew here with Bepti and Geordie and Ella, and Bonnie's actually left to go back to Tauranga, and I haven't forgotten anyone, have I? Bepti, of course, everyone loves Bepti. You're not going to love her today though, I tell you why. She's the timekeeper. So we are about to have 10 teams. You're all going to present for a maximum of 8 minutes. And if you go over time, are you actually timing me? Yeah. Wow. This is an agile world we live in, it's very innovative. Before we begin, I'm not going to muck about, we're going to get into it very quickly. I want to introduce our judges, but before we do that, to celebrate, I want us to do this quite weird thing. So I want us all to clap at exactly the same time. Okay? So we're going to go 3, 2, 1, clap, and we're going to do it real freaking loud from the very start. Right? 3, 2, 1.
Just one?
It's just, I didn't explain that very well though, to be fair. We're going to do that again. It's just going to be one very loud clap. Now I noticed that somebody started a bit early too. Let's do it again. 3, 2, 1. Everybody, welcome to Create Cat Choral Presentations. Alright, let me introduce the judges. Make sure I get my little notes here. So we have got Angela, first of all, from ANZ. So she is a Tech Tribe lead. If you would like a home loan, she's got 1 or 2 to give away tonight, I think. Anna is a Tech Service Manager. I don't even know what that means, really. But she's Irish, so already she is awesome. And we've got Marcus from PushPay. Oh, so I should have said, I don't know if I did. Anna is from ANZ also. And we've got Marcus, who is a technical manager. What do you do at PushPay? Hires people like you. That's what he does. So make sure you impress him tonight. So they have a set of criteria that they're going to go through. You know about this already. So without further ado, I would like to welcome up Parks and Recreation.
Hello, we are P&R or Pause and Recreation. My name is Chelsea and we have Chloe, Yun, Flynn and Sharon. Can I just get a quick show of hands? Who here has a dog? Yeah? Okay, for those of you that raised your hand, let me know if you relate to this situation. You're taking your dog on a walk, but you're sick of going to that same park over and over again. You want to go to a new park, but you don't know where to go. And you also don't know if there's a park out there that will suit the needs of your hyperactive 2-year-old Golden Labrador. Well, do we have the solution for you? We designed a web application that allows users to look for dog parks in their suburb and also have the option to filter their results based on their dog's needs. To talk more about this, I'll pass it over to Chloe.
So this is a demo of our web application. So this is what you see when you first open up our website. You can see it's interactive. You can drag and scroll. That red dot is our current location, well, hypothetically. And so you select your suburb that you want from the drop down. So I selected Oriental Bay. As you can see, there are 2 dog parks in Oriental Bay, the suburb. And you can also zoom in. So you can see 2 dog parks. There's also, on the side, we have a filtering system. Unfortunately, so you just select like what sort of, if you want like an on-leash dog park, off-leash, if you've got a big dog fence, anyway. So unfortunately the filtering system isn't implemented yet, but that's something we will do in the future. And so originally we wanted to do parks, just an all parks and reserves application. But like we because of coronavirus, everyone wanted to go outside, and so we wanted to help people find new places that they hadn't been. But after refining our idea, we decided to narrow our customer market just to dog owners. It just seemed to be a little bit more interesting for us, especially because most of us on the team have a dog. But yeah, I'll pass you on.
So to get to specific idea, we started with the Crazy 8. So everyone got to draw what they were thinking of, and we got to check what everyone was thinking, and we chose the best street to start off our direction. And then we went to user journey where we just decided what content it will include in each page. So we went through a home page and then go to filter and what information that will come out the page, and then how the function and interaction will be. And then with this information, we made a low wireframe. And then with this, I visualized it in Figma, the high wireframe, and I prototyped it, and we got to user test it and see what we should improve on and what was good. And what we got from was that it's simple to use, but we still have more things to improve on. And in the US part, we included a game, but it was overcomplicating, and we got feedback that even though we didn't use the game part, people will still use it. And we had the rating for we had repeating stuff, which made it confusing. So we reduced it, which made it easier, and we reduced the pages. And for the UI, the buttons, according to the floor, like the color and the order was not noticeable, made it not noticeable, so it changed those parts. And the graph, and we got the feedback like what we should add and what we should delete, and with this feedback, we made a application design. And we also decided to make it responsive, so people can also use it on websites, so we also designed that part as well.
Alright, I will give a brief overview of how the program itself runs. So firstly, we start with a pretty basic combination of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We then use the Google Maps Places API as our front-end primary kind of user interface. We wanted to do that because it really kind of creates a simplistic view that most people would be familiar with. From there, we use the Wellington Regional Council dog park dataset, and we combined the API and the dataset together to show the locations depending on your suburb that you pick, and yeah, essentially what region you'd be looking for. So I'll pass it on to Sharon now for.
So talking about the future expansions, so we're thinking of making the park information visible to the users. So that would be creating a customized search result based on the off-leash and on-leash places where you could get your dogs to go to. And also the users could give a rating and review for their location as well. And also we're thinking of making the mobile compatibility more responsive for the users to develop it more on a mobile user-friendly platform. And also connecting with other dog owners. So that would be creating a user profile for users to come together and create a place where they could meet up for their dogs. And also providing direction services to the parks as well. Talking about the successes that we faced during this time while working on the project, we implemented a map and search functionality. So we could create based on the filters that we provide to get the search custom results. And also the UI design, so that would be to make more interactive for the users, so they could provide particular filters and on where to go off-leash, on-leash, and depending on the size of your dogs as well, like whether it's big or small. And also the incorporation of a data set into the Maps API. Some of the challenges that we faced during this time were having ambitious ideas, so we weren't sure if we would be able to implement it the first time we thought about it. But then also the team ability. So we lacked experiences in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and the languages that we used. Also the time limitations that we had. So 2 days, we did our best that we could. So that's all. Thank you so much for listening. And do you have any questions?
absolutely amazing. You came in 1 minute early, which is awesome. It means I get a little bit of time for banter. The name of your team is not Parks and Recreation. Pause. I've been saying it wrong this whole weekend. Yeah, really sorry about that. Judges, do you have any questions?
Hello. What was the thought process that made you choose JavaScript as the language for this application?
Pretty much just getting feedback from our mentors. A lot of us are pretty, I wouldn't say totally unexperienced, but we came here to learn, essentially. And from the feedback that we got, web pages and creating a web app, the best solution would have been HTML and JavaScript for what we wanted to achieve. So we just followed the kind of suggestions that were given to us at the time.
Well, looking at the maps in your design, it showed a lot of other places like restaurants and things. Was there any consideration to see if you could take them out?
We did actually get some feedback from the user testing that it was like the map was quite confusing. Unfortunately, we couldn't figure out how to do that with the time we had.
Thanks.
So do you think if you had more time, you would take those elements out?
Yeah.
Cool. And you also mentioned within there was a capability to chat to other dog users. Is that right?
It was a potential capability we'd like to implement in the future. We don't have that yet.
Okay, cool. Right. Okay.
So talking about the future, and you've just catered for dogs, where do you see this going? Like, what would be the natural next step, and is there anything else in the market similar? Like, where do you see it?
There are quite a few other similar applications on the market. What we wanted to do was to try and gamify it and offer like a reward system, which obviously like really hypothetical, but like with potential sponsors, like maybe being able to partner with them and like offer something to encourage users to actually use our app over other ones that are currently there.
So that would be a revenue model that you're thinking of?
Yeah.
Well done.
Alright, I think up next we have Bucket It, the team with the grey hoodies. It's not true, two of them decided not to go with the team uniform.
Cool. So, you're a tourism traveler. You're not sure where to go. There could be a slice of heaven right next to you, but you have no idea it's there. Take Fernando, for example.
Yes, that's right. Like, I saw Narnia and I watched this beautiful place and I got obsessed. I bought the books and all the things. And then after 10 years, I came here to New Zealand. And I traveled like 6 months or something like that. And after 6 months, someone said me, hey, there is a place called Cathedral Cove and it is in Narnia. And I was like, oh, is that place real? And it never would happen if I knew or if I had something like Bucket It. Yeah?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I was somewhere down with my family up north and, damn, what was that place, man?
That's right, bro. That's why we need something like Bucket It. So yeah, let's talk about customer, community, and cloud. So as a customer, like you can like save all your places and know where you're going next, or even if you're in a road trip, you just go to Bucket It, see some places, and then you know what to do next day. What about community, bro?
So about community, this is a free service available always, everywhere on the web and even on mobile. Check it out, boys.
So our final product presentation. Could you please live? So what we have here, so we have the nearby places and the bucket list that they are like chosen due to your like actual location, and then you start here to scroll down, and then if you love one place, you just bucket it. Then if you go to the place, you just check it, and you're ready for your next page. So you can also click in the map the different markets, and you will get information about the site.
So as you can see, easy as pie. Nothing too difficult, nothing complex. So, how we started out. We basically started out with a brainstorm. We had 8 ideas, we condensed it into 3, and then with more analyzing, more breaking your brain, going hard out, you know, seeing if this meets the time frame, we went on one idea, and that was the initial idea of bucket it. So as you can see, we have the lean canvas there, and I'll let Fernando talk more about that.
So mainly we identify that person that doesn't have any plan and would like to discover what is coming next when they are in a place, or even if you're just a traveler that want to go and check what to do like in your next trip. We find that they have the problem that there is not a place. They can like plan it with TripAdvisor, but sometimes TripAdvisor is like a lot of information. This one is just more like if you love the image, you love the place, you just choose it. Then based on that, we created this statement.
So our mission statement to make this product was to empower travel enthusiasts to discover and create a bucket list of their most favorite places. So yep, that's our mission statement. So let's start with the initial design. How we started out was basically like any other team, crazy eights. Give each person a piece of paper, fold it into 8 pieces, and see what they want the UI to look like. And basically, after combining all the ideas, this is what we came with. So, as you can see, really wacky bucket. It's post title there, search bar, image, everything. And also, what we have here is the designer feedback. Some of the things that I'd really like to point out was like having a login button to have more personalized bucket list. We included that in the initial design. But unfortunately, we couldn't implement that into our final app.
So what technologies do we use? So we use Node.js, plain JavaScript, plain HTML, and plain CSS because it was easier to work here, and there is not enough time to learn like a framework. And as in APIs, we use Google API coordinates, and we use New Zealand Conservation Parks data set. So this is our team, and because this was a teamwork, we would like that our team tell more about those challenges that we had.
Hey guys, I'm Jay. So one of the first challenges that we had was working with Vanilla.js. Even though it is simple and you can do a lot of awesome stuff with it, it came with the challenges. The web frameworks have made our life a lot easier for us, and for instance, using DOM manipulation was like me writing a research paper of sorts. So also on another note, while using simple stuff like inner HTML, I couldn't but think about the security implications that it posed. I could do excesses on that on any day, some things that web frameworks have efficiently handled for us.
Hey guys, my name is Justin, and one of the challenges that I faced, and I think some of my other team members faced, was working together as a team, working with GitHub, and just because we're very used to working alone and just working on our own projects and not having to worry about all the merge conflicts, and I'm sure everyone in the crowd probably suffered through a lot of the same stuff as that we went through. And yeah, so this weekend has just been a really good opportunity for us to really learn and evolve those skills.
The dataset for this project. Something that I struggled with is, while handling the dataset and APIs, I use Python, but of course we use JavaScript for our project, so I had to had lots of help from my teammates and from other mentors to convert it from Python to JavaScript. Another thing you wanted is to show the images of the actual locations, just to let the user know what the location is like. But I tried using the Google Places API to pull images, but sadly the naming conventions of the dataset were not good, so we couldn't pull images, so we just had to use mock images.
So we tried to implement some agile here. We had the Kanban with our backlog, and then we just like make some stand-ups and plan the next sprint. So the future design demo is we would like to include like the search location and a login panel, and we would also like to include like the ratings. Thank you so much, and as a conclusion, this was a really good opportunity. We received a lot of help from all of the mentors, from Olaf. It was a lot of support from design. He received a lot of recommendations.
Yeah, so from design perspective, I'd really like to thank Florence and Michael for their help. Thank you.
Well done, team. Where are you going? This is awesome. I love this idea. It's the sort of thing that I would definitely use. Judges, do you have questions?
Have you considered adding like a comment facility to it?
Yeah, so what was one of the additional ideas was to create the reviews, so that's why we had the 5-star reviews system on that final future product design.
Mm-hmm.
And we also wanted to include the opportunity for users to add their own locations, their own hidden gems around New Zealand. And, yeah.
Can you drill into one of these places? Like, is that part of the feature?
So this is just. Sorry. So this is just the design one. If we can go back to the app, we're that.
Is that actually running?
Yeah, this is actually running. It's live.
Nice, but did you showed the one on the phone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, was that just a screenshot?
No, it's the
Right.
Yeah, so you can slide up and you can add it to the other side and
nice.
Some responsiveness.
So can you drill into one of these and get more information, or can you just like it?
No, it is something that is gonna happen in the future.
Yeah.
You said it was a free service. Is it going to continue to be free? Are you planning on getting sponsorship as well, or how would you guys in the future plan to make some money?
So yeah, we are planning to add some premium features onto it. So I guess firstly, this is based on a set radius around the place. When for our premium customers, we would offer an extended radius. You could go way further than what it is now. And would you like anything to add?
Yeah, we could also add stuff like added incentives for users who use our app a lot, so that we could get more users on board. So finally, when users start using our applications, we can then plan to expand. Until then, we can manage the cost, because like I believe community driven is the best way to go. Yeah. We could accept donations. And other thing that you have here in New Zealand is that every time that we go to a hostel or thing, you see a lot of papers like with ads about this place or $600 helicopter flight. So we can get some money of that, like just adding those ads in our application.
Just a quick question from me. So during your user testing process that you would have gone through, what kind of feedback did you get back, and how did you prioritise that and decide what you'd take on board and what you wouldn't? What was that process that your team went through?
So basically, I got user testing from at least 5 design mentors, I just implemented what was best and what would fit in the time frame.
Well done. One of these. Now, lost lost my master list. Who's this team? It's very unprofessional. We're live streaming this too, so I'm unprofessional in front of thousands of people. Yeah, why don't you take this one? Thanks, team. All right, welcome them up.
Yet another headline saying that the economy is going to struggle.
Oh, what did it say in the article?
I didn't read it.
Oh, of course you didn't. Oh man, I wish I knew how to help. But then I'm not Mark Zuckerberg.
I'm not Bill Gates either. That's not Bill Gates.
Hello everyone, I'm Cab. Me and other Yo-Pros are feeling confused about how to help with New Zealand's economic recovery. And we also are feeling powerless because we aren't millionaires or government. Plus, we're indecisive about how to start to help once we know how to help. Our problem statement is, how do we get indecisive young professionals to start helping out with the economic recovery? According to Stuff, in 2019, tourists injected over $112 million into the New Zealand economy every day. Now with the travelling bans and restrictions, basically none of this income is coming into New Zealand's economy. Local businesses such as cafes and restaurants which thrive on tourists are being affected the most due to this. And this brings us to a solution.
Okay, so there are two potential problems we're trying to solve. So on one hand, we're talking about failing local businesses due to a lack of customers. On the other hand, we have a bunch of Yo-Pros who are indecisive and also have a lot of money and time for the first time. So what should we do? Well, our team thought that we should go for a local solution for a local problem. So we decided to create an app that suggests nearby local cafes and restaurants where Yo-Pros can go to. And our approach was a minimalistic design, where the app will provide the user with single cafes at a time, removing the anxiety and decision paralysis which is plaguing the Yo-Pro demographic. Through the simple yet concise suggestion system, we believe we can help the local economy by compelling the Yo-Pros to an experience with local businesses, which local businesses have to offer.
Sweet. So our potential market is quite broad. So we did a large amount of user testing through LinkedIn and also did validation testing on LinkedIn. And our data shows that most adults actually need help when they're deciding where to eat out. A lot of indecisive people in New Zealand. And we also found out that it's not just a problem for restaurants and cafes. Actually, people looking for experiences are looking for some help too. So our entry to the market, we decided to focus on Yo-Pros. So that's young professionals, and we decided on that because they're often cash rich and are cash rich for the first time in their lives and time rich for the first time in their lives. And another reason was we had a lot of access to them just due to our networks and also all the mentors available at the hackathon. So for moving forward, we'll be making some adjacent apps to help with other services, but this is what we focus on for this hackathon.
Okay, so for designing this application, I used this process. So we were empathizing, then defining, ideating, prototyping, and testing. So we conducted a small research, bringing out all the ideas together, and then we defined it by solving all the existing problems that a user could face.
And then we ideated, we did some sketching on paper, and then we did prototyping using Figma. And then the link for working prototypes is below. And we did some testing, and in testing we got some feedback. For example, the user was not able to, the user wanted to have some information about the cafe with the suggestion and the ratings, how good the cafe is. And then they wanted that the button should link them to a route leading them to the cafe. And then, yeah, we took the feedback and we implemented it well. And what's the time?
Hey guys, I'm Neeraj, and I'll be taking you through the live demo of our app. So here's the app. It just finds up your local businesses, gives you the business name, gives you a friendly thing about how far the place is, gives you a price rating, and then gives you a choice to either go there or not. So if you don't want to go to this place, you can just go not even. These are some New Zealand slangs, by the way. And you don't like this either. Say if you like for a cafe and you want to go there, you just press love it, and it will take you to the Google Maps location right there. So, what about the tech stack? For the tech stack, we're using React as the front end, which is then hosted on Netlify. For the back end, we're using Node.js, which is then hosted onto Heroku. For the API, we're using Zenbu API. It's a New Zealand API that gives you information about the local businesses around you. Yeah, if you guys want to follow us, you can find us on LinkedIn and GitHub. Yeah. And before I finish, I would like to thank my team members, Vidhi, Ryan, Cab, Song, and James, and our awesome mentor, Sam, for helping us throughout the weekend. And a huge shout out to everybody who helped us. Thank you.
Awesome, that was Windy Sales, everyone. Can I ask the first question, but to the judges? Had you heard of YoPro before?
No, it took me a while to work out what that was.
We're obviously not that anymore.
Yuppies, they used to be called. Yuppies. Remember that?
Yuppies, I know yuppies. I mean, these two look like YoPros, but I'm definitely not. But they look pretty cool. When it came up with the selection, it had like the name of the place. How can I get details about what they serve, you know, what their menu or something like that?
Yes, so we just wanted to keep it as a name and a distance to keep it as minimalist, in a minimalist style as possible. What we wanted to do was encourage young professionals to try out new local businesses rather than having to have to sift through details and get into that state of, do I go to this one because it's slightly cheaper or because it's got that special drink I want or whatever. We just wanted to make it, we just wanted to encourage young professionals to try out new local businesses.
Yeah, and also if you click on the name of the business, it takes you to their website listing as well, and you can look at what they have listed on their website. So often they have menus and things like that if that's what you're on as well.
Right. And if I said yeah, no to one of them, can I go back to the previous entry?
Yeah, be careful with that because no, you can't. Yeah. Often we tested it on a location in Queen Street, and then if you missed it, there's quite a few. So yeah, good luck.
And are you primarily targeting New Zealand YoPros?
Yes.
What challenges did you face, and where would you take it a bit further if you had more time?
Yeah, so further, I think in general we were very happy with the solution that we produced, and the further would be making other adjacent things. So right now we're focused on cafes and restaurants, and then focusing on experiences in the future. So things like escape rooms and things like that, other experiences that you can find. Further than that, We're also trying to reach out to other demographics. This is very focused to Yo-Pros, but there are obviously other adult demographics that we can focus on as well.
Can I give you a suggestion? Yo-Pros might be a bit lazy, so when you give them the distance to go to, you could also pop in where a local wine school or something is to get them there. Just throw it out there.
I've just got one question. So the hospo industry is quite loaded with a lot of these apps, like Zomato, Best Table, you've got Entertainment Book, you've got heaps of options that are giving us lots of discounts. Why would I use your app rather than one of those others that already give me a discount and that side of it?
Yes, like the main thing with us is that, like with Google, you have everything, and it's almost a bit too much information. Whereas like the main thing with us is, because there's so much information with Google, for example, you almost get like decision like paralysis. It's a bit overwhelming, and it's not really telling you or suggesting where to go. Whereas with us, it's like, boom, here's one thing, do it. So you don't get stuck on like, oh, this place has got that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the main thing.
Well done.
Okay, thank you, Team Windy Sales. You can sit down now. I mean, stay here if you want. Up next we have Crayon. Not ordinary crayon though, crayon with a K. Where are you, crayon with a K? Come on up. More coffees. Seems like you Yo-Pros like the coffees.
Cool. Great. So our idea is actually pretty similar to the one before. So stick with me on this. We have a different, unique feature. But yeah. So hi, we're Team Crayon. I'm Ryan. This is Sabrina, Martin, Jemima. I got it finally. Sunny and June. And our mentor is Erwin, who's sitting right back there. Cool. So let me tell you a story. So this is John. He's an expat working in Paris. He's been there for 15 years. As a result of COVID-19, he has to move back because he's been very redundant. Big words that you don't want to hear. Yeah. So he's been moving back to New Zealand, and he doesn't know how much a coffee costs. So he's been quite accustomed to paying in euros for a cup of coffee at €2.25, whereas in New Zealand it might be $4 today. It might have been different 15 years ago, maybe $1, I don't know. Yeah, so here's our problem. So what we're seeing, or what we're observing these days, is that there are a lot of overseas Kiwis, and they're returning to New Zealand as a result of COVID-19. And they're not used to their currency, right? Why would you be? You've been paying for coffee at €2, and suddenly you have to pay $5 for coffee. So here's our solution, Crayon. We provide you, the user, best places to get coffee that's reasonable and something that you're comfortable in the currency that you specify. So cool, so I'll pass it on to Sabrina.
Okay, thank you, Ryan. So basically I'll go through the UI design process that our designer Jin has went through. So the first thing we went through was survey, which is to validate our problem that we have to solve. And then she went through a wireframe, which is to create something visual for the developers to know what we will create. And then after that, she went through a prototype to create one so she can use it for user testing. So after that, she has created the first initial wireframe on your left, and then through multiple iteration and user feedback, she went to the second wireframe, and then the next wireframe, third wireframe. After that, user testing, we got some feedback where it flowed well, but there was too many buttons and the users got confused. They might like accidentally click on one of the buttons and then it will pop up somewhere else. It's really annoying. So we'll show you the final prototype in our demo soon. So basically our two tools that we use is, there's supposed to be a GitHub image on there, which is what we use for collaboration and like just for our code. And after that, we use Heroku for our website deployment. And the main language that we used was JavaScript, HTML, and CSS with the other extensions as well. But mainly we use Express.js, which was recommended by our mentor. And so what happens behind the scene, basically? So there's John again. So he will be entering a location that he wants to go to find the cafe. And after that, we will send it to Zenbu, our API, which will make a call and then find the locations of the cafe. Then it will send it to the Google Map, and they will show the pinpoints of the cafes on the map that we have. And they're supposed to be arrows, but our slides got messed up, sorry. And then after that, it will pass it back to the user. So we'll show you the live demo now. So basically, we'll go through the currency. For example, we choose AUD, and then the location, we'll choose like Ponsonby, for example. And then the budget, we'll say like $5. So I just want to point out that we haven't, because of the time constraint, we haven't like implement the currency and also like the budget, but we did do the location. So in the map, you can see there's 4 pinpoints, which shows the cafe that is around Ponsonby. And then we have the cafe name and also the cafe address that's shown. But we wanted to have like the prices shown as well, and also like an image of it and the rating, but we didn't have time to complete that. So
cool. So over the weekend, we followed an agile mindset. So what that means is we conducted daily stand-ups just to keep most of the team in the loop, as well as use a Kanban board on GitHub. So yeah, everything was, we pretty much communicated all our issues quite well, and I think we worked really well as a team. Yeah, so several challenges that we have gone through. So for developers, it is our first time using Express.js as well as Heroku, so it was really exciting to finally see data come up in our web app, if you know what I mean. And as well as Heroku being able to deploy it, it's really like, boom, out of your mind. For our designer, Jen, it's also her first time working with developers, being able to like create all these different prototypes, going through multiple iterations and using that feedback to make better ones. And that's a really good learning opportunity for Jen as well. Yeah, so, So initially our idea was quite ambitious, but given the time constraints, we weren't able to do everything. So in terms of the future implementations, we are looking to target like a broader target audience. We are probably going to incorporate like restaurants and retail stores as well. And one of the main things that we decided to do this is because of ANZ's sense of community. We wanted to do it because we want to help support the local community as well as make sure there's our favorite stores to go to after COVID. Cool, so yeah, thank you all for listening to our presentation. And if you'll excuse us, we'll probably go for coffee right now.
I did actually wonder how many cups of coffee you drank during the production. I thought you were saying it was one of the tools for a minute there when I saw the cups of coffee. Anna, do you want to start us off maybe just to mix up the judging question asking order?
Sure. So I wasn't really clear on the bits that were and weren't kind of live. So your whole concept is basically, if you're abroad, you come back and you're able to identify the difference between what you would be paying and what you would get. Great idea. It's awesome because obviously me being from Ireland, I still do it so I really like the concept. But so what you have live at the moment is just finding the places to go and get the coffee, but your intention is to have it in the end, is to have that price compare. Okay, all right, perfect. It's not really a question, I just wanted to. Thanks, guys.
Couple of questions. So what type of coffee do you do the price compare of? Because that was a bit that I wasn't clear about. Can you refine it if it's a flat white or an espresso or with almond milk? Is there that refinement of the user's profile?
Yeah, so initially we wanted to also have the user input to say, I want a cup of mocha, I want a flat white, etc. But I think given it was like a technical challenge for all of us and was a time for us to learn something new, we weren't able to implement it. Yeah.
Were there any other products like this that tourists use and that you considered? Because one of the things we know that Brits and Irish like is a beer, and quite often when they travel they go, actually that's how I rank a place. Were there other, not just coffee, that you considered? What was the spectrum that you thought about?
Yeah, so we initially considered coffees because like we all drink coffee and we thought that would resonate well with the audience. But I think part of the reason why we did this was because let's say you want to travel overseas, right? Let's say you want to go to France and you're like, oh, I want to go from the Louvre just to see the Mona Lisa. You don't know how much a taxi actually costs, right? But using our app, you're able to determine how much a local would pay, and that would help save you money as well as prevent you from getting scammed. And which is like the underlying foundation of why we built this, to help like tourists as well, which is part of our future implementations.
And just one more, if I hand it over. How would you keep that data up to date, right? Because if it's not to rip off, and a lot of those places have tourist seasons, and even New Zealand, what's the mechanism to make sure that data is relevant, up to date, all of that?
Okay, so we were thinking of using Zomato API. However, due to the time constraint, we couldn't do it. But I'm guessing they keep it updated. It's kind of not our fault if it's not updated.
What was the biggest challenge you faced in building this?
I would say good, basically, because it's like my first time anyway to collaborate with a team. I usually do it by myself, and now I have to work with a team, and it's so confusing getting you have to get the latest version, and then you didn't get the latest version, you have to git stash. It's really confusing for me. But what about you guys? Anyone else?
I reckon for all of the developers, we struggled a lot with learning new tools. So we were really comfortable with the tools that we used at uni and with our own projects. We decided to take it a step further and use something else so that we could learn from the experience.
Cool, thank you.
Up next we had Muffin Girls. I've heard that New Zealanders like to drink beer too, just saying. Heard vodka. Heard vodka.
Good afternoon, everybody. It has been mentioned we are the Muffin Girls, and my name is Patricia. Patricia as well. I'm Patricia as well. I'm Liddy. Hello, I'm Maya. Hello, I'm Ashley. And the source of our inspiration this weekend has been your safety, my safety, our safety. As an instance, right? Recently in May, a man got attacked in Auckland CBD while walking at 12:30 a.m. So a crime attack is something that can happen to any of us And that has been, of course, the main reason why we start this. And particularly, we have chosen female uni students. Why? Because of the time constraint that we have, the available tools, and because this has happened to us in the team recently. Okay, just to show some stats of how the crime has been behaving in New Zealand, we can see that on the year 2014 we had 218 cases, and as the time went past, on 2016 we had 375, right? It did have a trend in which it decreased. However, if we compare 2 years' time, from the time that is 2018, we had 266 cases, and as the time is moving, it seems to be that we are going to go up as well with crime. So now I pass it on to Patricia as well, so she can explain further.
All right, cool. Before we go further in, our application that we created this weekend is called Walk Buddy. So what this does is that we pair up a user that has the app on their phone to someone that also has the app, and they're within the same location, like about 500 meters. And then they decide, okay, we can walk together because we're going to Britomart. So they get the current location and the other person's location, and then they would get, it's kind of like Uber, but for people, so that they can feel safe and walk together to Britomart, say at like 9 p.m. after a late class. So in terms of the 3 C's, our customer for the MVP this weekend is university female students. We chose this because it's a really small demographic and we all kind of fall into it, and because yeah, they especially at late nights, lectures finish late, so we have to go home, and it's quite scary. And it's also the quickest authentication way, so you put in your valid student ID, just so that you say you are who you are. In terms of the community, as we explained earlier, you know, these statistics and stuff of crime and safety, so we wanted to think of something that related to us and safety as well. And for cloud, we harness the power of the great Heroku. In terms of the technology, we use vanilla JavaScript, HTML, CSS as the front end, but we also use Express.js for the back end. We use the Google Maps API and the Auckland Transport API as well. The reason for the Auckland Transport API is so that we choose, those are the meeting locations that they can choose from, which are the bus stops, because they're frequent around the city, and people can say, okay, let's meet at this bus stop, and yeah. And we use GitHub for version control and Heroku for deployment.
So for the branding, so I use this color combination and logo. So we mostly focused on a woman, and the logo is like a walk buddy, so it's look like a walking with buddy. Wireframe with on a paper and using the Figma. So first I created wireframe on a paper, and I discussed with my teammates, and based on their requirement I changed some stuff, and after that I created on a Figma. Next. After that, feedback and user testing. So I did some user testing yesterday, and based on that I changed on a UI side, and today I did final testing as well, and after that I created UI side using Bootstrap 4, HTML, CSS. Why Bootstrap 4? It's easy to use it with the Flexbox and ready-made class. Yeah. Next.
Cool. So we try to use agile processes throughout the weekend to efficiently plan and develop our app. So we used a Kanban board with our user stories to see who's doing what at when, and we also did, what do you call them, stand-up meetings every hour during development, and also every 30 minutes during the end. So just a little bit of a retrospective. What we did well, I think we did teamwork very, very well. So we worked together, we shared our ideas, and we didn't actually argue during the whole weekend. So we actually had a really big idea at the start of our weekend, but we managed to narrow this down quite well to MVP. We use agile processes for efficiency, and none of us really knew how to do JavaScript, only a few, so learning a new technology and actually making something with it was a big challenge that we faced pretty well. What we can do better is write up proper user stories, start off small because we had quite long paragraphs at the start, so we should probably do that more quickly and more refined at the beginning. So we should have also done stand-ups on Saturday just to check on who's doing what, as things got a little bit messy during the end of the day when we got tired. And planning our scope better. We actually didn't get to integrate our front end and back end too well for the end, so just planning the scope better would mean that we could put it together. So next steps for our app, because this is like we're looking for a security solution for girls to be able to walk together and after uni. We want to do some like police vetting with the profiles, as well as the other points down there. Also notifications, so once you've finished your walk, we want to notify each other if we've got to the place, the destination after. And also the meeting point of buddies is only limited to bus stops right now, but we'd like to extend that to use other locations. And expanding target customers, so not only females, but for everyone.
So time for a demo. Could we put... so a demo, our app basically just starts from a logo, and it asks you to, it takes your current location and asks you to enter a destination and find a buddy, and it tries to find some other person who is trying to go to your final, like nearby to your final destination. Once it is being connected, it directs you and the buddy to a meetup point. That could be a bus stop nearby where you can meet and then walk to your final destination together. After you reach there, you can just press the button, arrive safely, and that's where the loop ends.
Well done.
Awesome, I think this is a great thing that you're doing. 266 crimes is 266 too many, I think. So, yeah, who wants to kick us off? Judges, any questions?
So it's a great idea, like you said, we want to get crime down, but there's always, we've got to pay for developers and testers to actually, you know, do the work on the app and maintain it. What are your thoughts around how you could finance it or get some revenue for it around that kind of in the future?
At the moment, our main purpose is from the community to the community. We really didn't thought about getting some money out of it because it is about helping each other. So for the moment will be voluntary work, and it will be about us adding extra fixtures and learning with it. But perhaps with the fixture we could look into financial, doing some financial, getting some financial support. Perhaps from the police, since we will help them to find crimes, as we can add more fixtures detecting if someone has committed a crime, or add like a message or blog in which other users can say, look, I just been assaulted, where, and what happened, and those things.
Hey ladies, great idea. My main concern would be, I know you were looking at the security and the security verification side of it, but how applications can get them twisted on you. So someone signing up for it to work with you for different intentions. How did you kind of tackle that?
We did think about it, so maybe one of you want to explain that.
We were also looking at maybe integrating like police vetting as well when you sign up. So when you sign up, you have to give your details in, and then we'll do a police check behind that. And that also ensures that we have all your details that we'll also design to make secure, so we won't leak them out. But yeah, that could, yeah. So police vetting, passports, identity verification.
So if someone signed up, then it could potentially tell you to start running faster as well if someone dodgy was behind you.
That was, I think, one of the features of the similar apps that we researched, that the app detects if your heartbeat is increasing or not.
Oh, cool.
have like in their profile, and the second person choosing them as a buddy can see how many rating do they have. So that can be a verification.
From the demo, it looks like it was availability right now. Have you considered planning to say, I'm going to be going home at 7 p.m. tonight? Anybody be available then?
That would be a feature that we could add as well. In terms of the planning, look, I have a class that it finishes at 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Is there anybody around? And that will fall into the part in which we can have a blog, or sort of like a social media kind of help. So perhaps we can add that.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well done. Cheapies, you're up next. And while you're coming up, I should say the New Zealand Police for the first time ever are listing internships on Summer Kit. So yeah, maybe you could use some of your tech powers to help the New Zealand Police. Who is checking you?
Hi everyone. So we are team Chippies. I'm Cecilia. We have 10 Jonathan, Raymond, Emily on our team. So often as students, we tend to spend too much time trying to find the bus wagon around the town. So luckily, we met someone who shares the same concern as ours. So me, Elliot. So he often, when shopping online, he often finds himself spending too much time trying to research for the product price and trying to find the best bargain. So next slide, please. As you can see, this is what people normally do without using our product Chippies. People tend to go to different websites and have multiple tabs open at the same time and looking for the best price. So after talking to a few developers around the room and also doing some market research, we came up with our solution, introducing Chippies. So it's a website application that compares the price of second-hand goods with its retailer counterparts, hence give the user the best deal is possible. Now I'm going to hand over to Tan to talk about our design process.
Okay, so basically we wanted to create the best user experience with quite an easy interface. So we wanted an experience that it wouldn't be time consuming for any individual to compare prices from TradeMe to any other retailers. I did some as a team we got some paper prototypes and did some user testing where some of the major concerns that we came up with was when a user would search for something and have the results and then want to look for something else, it wasn't easy for them to find or search for a new item. Another big change was changing it to a grid layout to show more items on TradeMe. And so for the final design, we had like a grid layout that was easy to cross-reference between TradeMe and other retailers. So I'll pass it on to Jonathan to show the final design.
So to demonstrate our app Cheapies, we'll do a live demonstration. So as you can see here on our main homepage, it's quite a simple user interface. We have the Cheapies logo, and just under that we have a search bar. So for example, if someone wants to search for an iPhone XR, so they want to search up an item that they want to buy, they want to compare it with TradeMe prices and retail store prices, they click go, they're sent to another page. So this other page has three main components. So at the top we have a search bar, which allows them to change their search query if they want to without going back to the previous page. Just under that, we utilize TradeMe's API. So that's where the listings are fetched from TradeMe's website. It lists all the relevant listings. And just to the right of that, it lists all the retailers' prices. So that eliminates the need from having a bajillion tabs open, basically to compare prices. So in terms of our tech stack, I would say these are the three most important that we've used. So firstly, React. While it is a break JavaScript framework, all of our team members had experience with it. So we decided to use the React library, since it is a component-based library that allows us to make several components individually and then merge them together at the end. To deploy our web application, we used Netlify. So with Netlify, it basically allowed us to push our changes into our Git master repository, and every time a change is made, it's automatically updated. And of course, last but not least, the TradeMe API to make everything happen. So I'll pass it on to Raymond to talk about the development process.
Cool. So we had a stand-up every hour or so to make sure that everybody on the team was on the same page. We also implemented pair programming and used the Kanban board to see what we're doing, what we need to do, and what we have already completed. And we also participated in retrospectives to see what we did well as a team and what we didn't do so well. Our main distribution channel for cheapies will be hopefully a partnership with TradeMe. They may seek a partnership because our app will generate a lot of traffic to their app, because on our app they can see the deals from TradeMe, and hopefully they will want to pursue that deal and go into the TradeMe website. Our main revenue stream will be ad sponsors on our website, or consumers paying a listing fee or a fee to have their listing go to the top or make their listing larger. For our future implementation, we would like to import real data from the retail stores, as right now it is hard-coded, as we couldn't find a suitable API for our purposes. We would also like to incorporate customer reviews and user ratings, as well as user authentication, so they can add deals to their wish list. We would also like to expand to a bigger market in the future, such as with Amazon or eBay, and include more retailers in the retail section. Our first accomplishment that we had was working in the agile development process, as we haven't really worked with this process before in university, as we're usually working solo. Our second accomplishment was working in a team environment. This was also a good learning experience because, for me anyways, I haven't really worked in a team environment such as this, communicating with each other and passing ideas around. And lastly, participating in customer-centered design. Going through the user testing and user feedback process was also a good learning experience. And yeah, thank you for listening.
Awesome, well done. I'm not sure how many iPhones the judges bought while your presentation was going. I think that's a real need. Any questions?
Well, as a team, what was the greatest challenge that you guys faced, and how did you overcome it during the last couple of days?
I think our main challenge was, firstly, we only could access the sandbox API for TradeMe, so this is just mock data. So when we were getting data, it didn't make sense. We searched for a phone and we got a shirt, so that didn't make any sense. But eventually we got a key to access the real data, and that was awesome, yeah.
You keep talking about potentially the future. Are you just actually kind of hypothetically saying that, or would you actually like to, if you got it to a place where you really wanted to work with the likes of TradeMe, or as you say in the future, Amazon or eBay?
So we were limited to, well, in our situation, we were limited to electronics, but that's mainly because with retailer pricing, it's quite difficult to find an API which gets all the relevant prices from different retailers. Initially, we thought we could use PriceFly, but apparently they didn't have an open source API we could use. So that's why we had to just limit ourselves to electronics for now.
When I'm looking for something to buy, I compare prices, second-hand prices, to find what the cheapest one is. I don't normally compare my second-hand price with a brand new retail price. Where do you see the value in being able to do that?
I think with TradeMe, like our main, so we'll probably work closely with TradeMe, but I think we could also implement a lot of other like second-hand retailers, or like do a lot of comparison from TradeMe to any other seller, whether it is retail or another second-hand seller.
You mentioned this working with TradeMe quite a lot, but it sounds like you're doing a price aggregation type service. Have you considered perhaps working with PriceBuy to add in a second-hand component to their service?
I guess that brings back to, well, yeah, a PriceBuy API. So if we were to work with them, they could provide us with the tools that we need. So in a way, that would create a full application, and I guess we could partner with PriceBuy and combine that functionality to make it whole.
Thanks.
Awesome. Next we have We Rate You. TradeMe is a long-time supporter of Summer of Tech. They hire interns every single year. This year they are hiring again. That's good. That's really good. Who is taking the microphone?
We rate you. Hi, I'm Raja. This is Bernie, Matt, and Beverly. And we're here to help people with their money. So this year I was supposed to go to Japan, and there's a lot of things to figure out in travel, but one important thing is money. Because there's this right to figure out. When trying to figure out what to do when going to a foreign country, there is all the consideration of, should I take my credit card with me and use it there, or should I take cash with me? And if I'm taking cash, where should I exchange that money? Should I do it at my bank or go to a provider, another provider? And that's exactly what we're helping with in this app. Our solution lets the user, let's say I have $120 and I'm going to Hong Kong, and I want to exchange that $120 to Hong Kong dollars. The user inputs that in exactly, and they're able to get a table with all the exchange rates from different providers, as well as the amount of money they will get if they exchange that $120, as well as a map with a close by provider for currency exchange. Cool. And now I'll hand you over to Bernie to talk you through the journey of how we got there.
Sweet. So we took 10 minutes to individually brainstorm our ideas of what we're going to do. And we also had like a voting system, and so that's how we ultimately decided on We Rate You. And we went through as a team through Lean Canvas, so this was quite new to us. So this is where we figured out who our customer was, what the problem is, the value it brings, the solution, and the APIs that we're going to use. And we also did some research to figure out if our idea was viable to continue with. And so we did find the most common problems were that finding info about currency exchange providers is often time consuming. And there's also a lot of jargon that the average person may not understand about currency exchange. And also that a lot of the information comes from a single provider, so like a bank. So there's no single source that can compile all the information with currency exchange providers. So I'm going to pass it on to Matt, who's going to talk about the tech that we use for this.
Thank you. So we, as a team, we started with pretty realistic expectations because we knew we had less than 2 days to get a working app together. So that worked pretty well, and we ended up with pretty much our full scope in the app. We, as a team, we knew a lot of different technologies, but very few in common, so we kind of stuck with Python, because 3 of us knew it for the back end, and we used Flask with hosted on Heroku. We used APIs from Google Maps and a whole bunch of hidden or not really public APIs from various banks to scrape their data, or scraping their data, some of their data, and the front end is just a standard basic vanilla JavaScript hosting GitHub pages, which is great for continuous deployment. We used an agile workflow, so this is our Kanban board, and we had hourly stand-ups to make sure the whole team was on the same page, and we kind of knew what was going on. So that's great. I'll pass it on to Beverly for the user experience.
So in terms of designing the UI, we went through the Crazy 8 approach, so 8 minutes, everyone comes up with 8 designs. And we compiled them, categorized them based on the similarities and differences, and really figured out what they had in common and what worked and what didn't. And ultimately, we came up with this design. So you just have a basic computer bar, you input your info in, and then a table that shows up. Before actually making a web app, we had to go through some prototyping just to get some feedback on if people think that it's intuitive, if it works well. This is actually interactive, but it's not shown here. So we used Adobe XD for that, and the feedback that we got was very, very valuable. In the prototype, it didn't really look that trustworthy. We had to make it look more trustworthy, like making different fonts or rounding the corners, changing the colors. And we also wanted colors that didn't correspond to any bank. So blue would correspond to BNZ, ANZ, so we used pink. Because no banks I know of use pink. And we did get the overall conclusion that it was simple to use, it did what it was expected to do. So yeah, I'll hand over to Matt for accessibility.
One of the most important things with any product is making sure that everyone can use it, whether or not they're unimpaired or they have impairments such as being colorblind. So we use the Google Chrome extension colorblindly to filter through all the various different types of colorblindness to make sure it was high contrast and easy to use no matter how colorblind you were. We also made a mobile app, I guess. Well, it's responsive, so it works on large screens, small screens, so everyone can use it no matter what their screen size. And I'll hand it on to Haja.
Yeah, so what we showed you right now is our MVP, but this app has a lot of other functionality that would be very useful to our users. Future possible functionalities include more data sources and more data about these data sources. So basically more providers and more info about them. And then the map would actually show you where these multiple providers that you see in that specific table are and around you, so that you can see the distance to the nearest bank as well as the rate. And showing like savings between the cheapest and the most expensive, basically. Yeah, and as a team, we faced multiple challenges. One of the challenges was that deploying a Flask Python app to Heroku required like a lot of dependencies and a lot of configuration files, and going through that error by error. Shout out to Olaf, thank you for showing me the error log with a specific one.
Yeah, so as a team, we also didn't have a lead tech mentor, so it was quite challenging to code in unfamiliar language like JavaScript, but we pulled through together as a team, and we got some help from some mentors.
I think we ran out of time, so let's skip to thank you.
Awesome, well done. I think that was a
amazing, particularly bold to do a financial services play when all of your panelists are from financial services business. Any questions?
Just a quick question, and it's always great to get the rates from different banks and institutions, but one of the challenges and differences between them is fees. How are you thinking of either now or in the future incorporating that fees information, because that could be a key differential depending on what gets sent back in data?
So we currently have the feeds in the back end. That shouldn't be too difficult to incorporate later. Where's the speaker? Okay, it's that one. It's not me. So that's something that we can definitely do in the future. It would probably be maybe another day to get it incorporated and double check that all the fees are correct, because there's nothing worse than displaying incorrect data to users.
In the scope of a single weekend, it's really difficult to build an app that connects to one API. I see you've got quite a number of APIs here. Is that all real time? Is that all successfully used?
So that's, at the moment, it's loaded when the web app is initialized, but it's designed in a way that's very easy to, I could just like loop the update code, but I don't have it doing that at the moment. The APIs are quite a pain to do, so I was keen to be done with them. So please, ANZ, make a nice API for us.
If that is appropriate, I'll hand over.
No questions, I'll get working on that piece straight away. Thanks, guys.
Okay, now we have big commit labs. Thank you. I love the idea of these hidden APIs. I just had these visions of you meeting BNZ in a back alley where they can hear the details. Here's the token. Right, big commit. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Check. All right, ladies and gentlemen, show of hands, who does not want to drown? Let me check if everyone has it. You didn't have your hand up. You want to drown? That's dark, man. All right, so you reckon everyone in the world doesn't want to drown, right? So our market is like over 7 billion people, right? So this is the problem. Oh, what? Oh yeah, so this is Tola, our designer. This is Peter. This is Jaru, and this is Simon, the coffee guy, yeah. All right, so here's the problem. Tides, right? High tides. First problem, right? High tides bring what? High tides bring ocean bears, right? And ocean bears bring what? Laser shots. High tides, ocean bears, laser tide. Laser sharks. Right, this is our problem. We didn't want to drown, we didn't want to get eaten by ocean bears, so we came up with an idea to save all of you and all of the humanity. It's called Tidely. And you can check it out now. Alright, oh yeah, and yeah, this app solves a big problem, because 100% of people who drowned in high tide would have died, so we're gonna save lives. Alright. Oh, Peter, just you, bro. It's not you. Okay, let's improvise, yeah? Peter, man, goddamn, dude. I guess this is not, we're not doing that. So this is it.
Alright, cool. So before we could do anything, we did some user research, and from our user research, out of 14 responses, we found out that 50% of the responses would think about the tide levels at a beach while when doing beach activities. We also found that out of 5, out of 5, how useful would it be to know the tide levels before doing these activities? Well, looking at the right side, seems like there's a lot of participants that are willing to value tide levels before doing these activities.
So Tidely is a weather app, and you might be wondering how exactly it goes about solving all those issues which Michael brought up so well. And the way that it goes about solving them is that it's not just a regular weather app. It doesn't just provide weather information. It also looks at what you as the user require, and it provides insight to you so that you can figure out when the best times to go to the beach are. So say that you are someone who wants to go kayaking or walking on the beach. You can tell Tidely what conditions you're after. So for example, you might want to walk on the beach when it's low tide or launch a kayak when it's high tide. So what Tidely will do then is it will look over the next week and it will tell you all of the times when you can actually go and do your activities based on the weather criteria which you are after. So how it works is you can see here, it's got a search bar and you enter the name of the beach which you're after, and then it will provide you the information and the insight as to when you can and can't go and do your activities. Okay, next slide. And this here is the compiled information. You can see that today we can enjoy kayaking at these times, walking at these times, and it also provides some of the weather information for you as well, and information over the next week. Oh yes, and the APIs that we use the NIWA Weather API to get information about the general weather, and then we use the Here Developer API for geocoding, and the Open Weather Map API for tide information.
Cool. So over to the ideation phase of the design process. We basically did some brainstorming, and there was a lot of conflict between us yesterday. We had arguments over, oh, let's make a dog Tinder to like food allergy app, but we settled with this Tide app, and we went straight into just sketching out the wireframes. So from there, as you can see, we want to test out our designs, and yeah, we came a long way. So just from the testing side of things, what we did is we just pretty much threw our prototype towards our mentors and just basically told them nothing in terms of instructions. So so from there, we were able to flesh out some confusion, such as the search page, looking at what we're trying to ask them, which is what is the tide like at? They were confused, and there were confusions on regarding whether it's for time or for location. So what we did is to add a prompt like enter location later in the process, and there was areas such as using a map isn't needed, and later through iterations we found out that we didn't really need it to put a map.
In terms of tools used, we have React in the front end along with Redux. We have Node.js in the back end and is deployed on Heroku. We tried to deploy on AWS, but we encountered problems. So it is now deployed on Heroku. Check it out at www.tidely.nz. We used Figma to do our wireframes. And of course, we have our lovely GitHub for version control. In terms of challenges and constraints, first was the time constraint. To elaborate on that, I'd say we're a team that focuses a lot on detail and getting the little things pretty and, of course, correct. But because of the 2-day time constraint, that came as a sort of double-edged sword. So we focused a lot on the details and sometimes failed to look at the bigger picture. And because of this, we only have like 70% of our app done. But this should be pretty simple to wrap up. Another thing, like we said, we tried to deploy this on AWS, but we did encounter problems, so that is not happening. Making the button go whoosh was definitely a problem, but we did manage to figure that out. Also, Michael being a clown is just the usual. Next up, we'll have a quick demo from Michael to, oh, you need permission to view this video. That's okay, we'll go on the live site.
Right, so this is a contest, right? If you guys want to check it out, if you find 3 mistakes, because we did like a spotless job, if you have 3 mistakes, you'll get a prize, right? So, where's the clicker? Yo, bro. Did I do that? Oh.
Stop it.
No, show them the link as well. It's www.tidely.nz. If you find a mistake, you get a prize. If you find at least 3 mistakes, you'll get a prize. Go on. Who's got a mistake? You got it? You got it? All right, let's go.
You're not using SSL.
You're not using SSL.
Yo, put in HTTPS and prove this clown wrong. Put an HTTPS after the link.
Okay, well done, well done. He's not going to let it go though. It's going to be secure, isn't it? Well done. It's amazing what you can do in a single weekend, judges.
Just quickly, because I don't think you got to it, what's your future vision for Tidely?
So the idea would be that users on Tidely can have their own user profile, and they can set up the beaches that they're interested in their home location, and the sort of the amount of distance that they'd be interested in traveling to do their favorite beach activities. And so then what they would be able to do is they'd be able to look at the week ahead and see at which beaches they would be able to do which activities that they're interested in over the following week. And we'd also extend it to things like surfing and give recommendations about which type of surfboard would be best under different conditions.
I just wanted to know, when you do set in all your preferences on the activities that you like, so it sends you notifications then, I presume, about when to take yourself down to your local beach?
So the way that it does it is currently you go onto the app and then there's a search bar and you can search for your, the beach that you're interested in, and then you select the conditions that you're interested in, and it will give you a list of the different time frames at which these conditions will be met on that beach.
And it does the push notifications.
I could have used this last weekend when I was at Hot Water Beach, because it only works at low tide. But for that I used another app to get the tides. What do you think is the main thing that sets you apart from these other apps?
So the main thing that sets us apart is that we do more than just displaying the tides. We also give insight based on the tide. So most other apps which display this sort of weather information, what you would have to do is go onto the app and then look at the tide and figure out whether that tide level is appropriate for your beach. But with Tidely, you can go on it and it will give you a list of the times rather than you even having to worry about what the tide is and that sort of thing. It will just provide you the times at which you can go.
You're using a weather API to pull in the tide information. Are you going to consider pulling in weather information too?
So we have 2 weather APIs, and one of them pulls in tide information and one of them pulls in weather information. And we have more information loaded into the app than is actually shown because we didn't have time to finish it all. But yes, that's something which we're planning to do in the future.
Cool, thanks.
Amazing. Up next we've got Aotearoa, which I think is genius.
Hi everyone, so my name is Andy and we're Aotearoa. I'm going to quickly introduce our team. We have Thomas, Carlos, Christopher, they're our developers, and we have Rishabh as our designer. And so imagine this, you have 2 best friends at the start of the year, Tom and Jerry. They decided to go to Wellington for a nice trip and planning to go scuba diving, kayaking, etc. However, they forgot all their equipment and they realized that there's nothing to do in Wellington.
Not true!
And
so as we know that currently the industry and the tourism industry is quite struggling. So we want to help this industry to the currently situation, and also about 30% going to hibernation, and 40% reducing business size, and 21% scrambling for capital. And that's why we also want to help the tourism when they want to travel around the surrounding new location and then get some equipment, or they want want to chat with the locals and or just explore anything else. So we want to build something that help the tourists.
So ultimately, we wanted to come up with a solution that would help reinvigorate the tourism industry, encourage locals to visit local tourist spots, and ultimately create a better experience for travelers.
So yes, so our mission statement was that let's rediscover our own backyard. And so like now I'll just like walk you through with the design process of like how things went. So we started with the brainstorming ideas and did the crazy activities with actual nailing it down to which idea and which design we need to pick, followed by some lo-fi wireframes and yeah, so we did some user journey. We did the lo-fi prototype with the sketches. We did some user testing where we can actually found out like what's the actual problem was, that buttons are not aligned, or like few things, there are transitions between the next one page to another and stuff like that. And so on, like we actually developed the hi-fi prototype that I'll actually walk you through. Yeah. So yeah, so that will be our prototype where people can see which place they want to go. Let's say they want to go Wellington, and so they click on it. They get the weather update with everything, a summary of what the weather is going to look like, recommended activities that they can do. Once a user selects that, like they have this all new read more things with all the weather suitability and stuff like that. So there's a pop-up thing. And yeah, so like this is a mock prototype where people can actually see from start process to the end process, like what the actual end product will look like. And so if the user doesn't have an equipment, it will transit them to the marketplace, which actually gets them an option to rent. And this is how the process ends, where they can fill in their details, phone number, and the booking date. And yeah, it should be there. Where so once they click on the book, there will be a notification where the user will actually be notified that the booking has been done and everything has been completed, the process has been completed, and they'll go back to the main page. So yeah.
So you're gonna see a very similar video next of the deployed live version, the video of it. So yeah. So as the video is playing, I want to talk about the challenges that we had while making this web app. So the first problem we encountered was that we had a lot of problems, and we had a lot of solutions that we could use, like features. So we ended up picking a very narrow idea, and so what we did was we wanted to help local businesses and the tourism to find out what places there are in New Zealand. So some of in the demonstration here, what it is doing is we can change different regions and states in New Zealand, and to check the next 5 days of weather, and it will recommend you an activity based on the type of weather that is given through the API. And through the marketplace, which we haven't really completed yet, is that it gives you peer-to-peer selling with local businesses and people. So next slide. I want to talk about the tech stack. So what we used was HTML, CSS, and vanilla JavaScript, so can't go wrong with that. We used jQuery, Bootstrap, and we also used Pro.io for our prototype.
I'll be talking about our technology processes. So on the first day, we did a lot of planning, and we created a repository, and we delegated tasks to each team member depending on what we wanted to achieve that day. And we finally came to a decision on our API, which took a really long time. And we completed the front-end prototype, so the UI design made by our designer, which is our largest accomplishment that day. And on the second day, we managed to fix a lot of the problems we encountered with the API, and we actually managed to connect it to our static page to make it slightly more dynamic. And we added a few more features into our front end, like the being able to see the different activities on that day. And we tried to deploy it on GitHub, but the API didn't work on GitHub, so we decided not to deploy it. And the next steps in our future, I guess we wanted to include a peer-to-peer marketplace between locals and the local tourists to help boost the local tourism in New Zealand. And I guess we wanted to do this, which requires some authentication, which would take a lot of time, so we couldn't implement it. And I guess they wanted some tracking systems. We also wanted to include Google Maps just to see the nearest places. And thank you for listening.
Awesome, well done. The only thing I have to point out is us Wellingtonians don't use umbrellas. It's just too sunny all of the time there, so judges?
It's like a really good app. It's great. How far has it gone though? So you actually have it live, it's in production, and
it's deployed, but the API isn't working. And we did a video because we found a problem with the API key. Like there's a limited amount of requests we could do, so we had to keep on making new accounts just to get bypass the limit of requests. So we managed to do a demo, and it shows like that it does work.
You demonstrated booking rentals for umbrellas and things. Were you considering also integrating with companies to provide tickets for rides and things?
So for the peer-to-peer marketplace, so anyone can sign up, so it can be local, like people, businesses, like you could do services, you can, so you can just host anything, and they can, as long as it's supporting New Zealand and their locals, that's what we were aiming for.
When you select a place, it comes up with a list of activities. Is there any way to filter that to things I like?
Currently there isn't. Currently it's just based on the weather. So if it's sunny, it will recommend you this place. So you might need to take a plane ticket or whatever.
Are you looking to implement some kind of rating system where?
That's definitely for the future. We were looking at ratings and reviews and all that.
Just to add to that, like with the ratings and reviews, like we do have if we look on the prototype, we already designed the way that it gives you the ratings of like the owners and like weather suitability and stuff like that. So there is a process, there is a plan that we will implement it like later on in the stage, but like there is a plan for it.
You mentioned at the end that you started adding features in, given you had more time, etc. How did you prioritise user testing to decide which features you were going to add in?
So like at the start, like we had a basic idea of having a marketplace and just with recommendations, like activities based on that. So when I created the design plan and when I did the user testing, like I actually got some valuable feedbacks around the transitions, like of one, like what would happen like if one button clicks on the other one. So that was one key thing that we actually liked and we wanted to implement. Unfortunately we couldn't, but that's a thing. But yes, definitely there is a plan for it and we are working towards it.
Okay, thank you.
Well done. And we have our very last team now, Sloshware.
not slosh walls, sloshware.
Is that why it's called sloshware? Because it sounds like software when you're sloshed?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm so slow.
Awesome. Yeah, so we're Team Sloshware and our product is Slosh. I'm Oliver, this is Alex, Laura, Deacon, Rawadi, Hendy, and we've also got our awesome mentor Walter over there. And like I said, our product is Sloshed. So, we've got a problem, and that is that students want booze. And they don't just want booze, they want to go to places where they can drink, socialize, and they want a convenient, quick, and easy way to get there when they're already out and about in town. And we believe that many students agree with us that this is indeed an issue. So we spent a weekend doing something about it. So this is Sloshed. So Sloshed is a web-based app currently that allows you with a single click just to get places to go and socialize, drink, or get liquor from in your nearby vicinity and provide you with easy access to directions and potential ways to get there. So it makes it super quick and easy for students, our target market, to go and, I guess, get sloshed, but responsibly, right? So like our initial point of view when we were coming up with the app, the very first thing that we were thinking about was our customer perspective. And we were thinking that our target customer, that kind of 18 to 24-year-old student, their main concern with this app was going to be that they want to have a quick and efficient way to find places to drink, to socialize. They don't want to spend ages typing in locations, they just want to be able to click a button, find somewhere, go there, and have a good time. However, this doesn't have a massively unique selling point, and we figured that out quite early on from talking to people around us. We also thought this wasn't the most responsible app to develop with just that feature alone. So we implemented a community objective in this as well. So as we went through our iterations, as we went through our design, we implemented features that are designed to reduce irresponsible behavior, features such as sobriety testing in the app and prompts to go home that maybe for when you maybe had too much to drink. So it's my pleasure to introduce Alex and to introduce our app, which is currently hosted on slosh.lol. And there are a couple of GIFs of the app in animation, and Alex is going to talk through it a bit.
Yep, so I'm a Yo Pro who works in the Wynyard Quarter. And say after work, I want to go and get sloshed. So here's our application. I'm fully sober right now, so I just click Get Me Sloshed. And as you can see, just there's a loading screen asking for my location. It's a little bit of a long loading screen, but there you go. You get, here's your nearest venue, right? So say I want to just call an Uber to go there, straight away, there you go. Yep, cool. And then so say I'm,
Is your Uber coming?
my phone is being slow. But yeah, so say at the end of a night out, I'm a bit unsteady on my feet, right? And so I decide I want to keep drinking more, right? And this is where our gyroscope kicks in, and it's sort of testing how sort of wobbly you are, right? And then from there you see a different screen. You're at a reaction test. And so from here, say I fail the reaction test, it'll bring me to a screen. You're drunk, go home. Call me an Uber home. So that's our responsibility features.
Awesome. So that's the product, but then the next real question is, what's the story behind it? Why did we go about developing it the way that we did? How did we implement it? So for starters, we did 6 rounds of rigorous user testing. So you can see some of the iterations of our Figma prototype up top, and Laura is responsible for interviewing many people about that. This informed whether or not our app would be useful, whether it had the key features that people actually would want to have implemented in it, and whether or not the UI was easy to use, and it needs to be simple for it to fulfill its purpose. So that was really cool. In terms of our front-end stack, we kept it fairly simple for the purposes of the hackathon. We hosted on GitHub Pages as a fairly reliable way of getting something up that we can showcase, like we did just then. We used the Google Cloud Platform for the Google Maps information. And then in terms of just like the front-end and stuff, we used just vanilla CSS, HTML, and JS, as that's something that we were all familiar with. And then we also have that CI/CD kind of element in terms of automatic deployment. As soon as we push something, a new feature, we wanted that to be available on the app that you just saw demonstrated now. So that was important to us. Our app was built to be responsive. It was built in a responsive way. It's got to work on a plethora of devices of different ages, whether it be an iPhone 4 and an iPad mini. Students have a wide range of devices, and no matter what device they're using, this app is going to look great, and it's going to be easy to use.
So that's all the front end stuff, but what's the cool tech behind everything else? You know, what are we packaging in here? So obviously we've got Google Maps and the geolocation API giving you the location data, providing information on nearby bars and clubs and places you can go and socialize in a quick and efficient way. We've got the Uber integration, which is great because users don't need to close out of our app and go into Uber and search a location and things like that. They just do one click and they're into their way home or their way to their next destination, which is really, really cool. Obviously the gyroscope API, so as part of our sobriety testing, it was good fun playing around with that and also getting to implement it in a way that was meaningful to the goals of our app. And obviously API key security was important. We don't want to be pushing keys up, especially when they're linked to Alex's credit card. In terms of the way that we worked, we adopted an agile methodology. So we generally worked in 1 to 2 hour sprints. We modularized our workflow a lot, so people were working on different aspects of the app. And it was important to have these shorter sprints with decent stand-ups at the end to get everybody up to speed on how development was going in each place. It also gave people the opportunity to talk about things that they were having trouble with. And so that was really important to be able to push our MVP out very quickly. At the end of yesterday, we had a really decent in-depth retro as well. We went through things that we would change about the way that we were working, things that were going well, and it provided us with a really good roadmap for today to continue that momentum and keep going forward. And we managed to push our MVP out just a few hours ago, which was really, really cool. So we had something to demo. We use product management software, mainly GitHub projects, so that's like Kanban board software. That was really, really useful because number one, we could see what everybody was working on, but number two, it was great for de-scoping the project because we had so many ideas on the left-hand side of that Kanban board at the start of features that we might want to implement, and it gave us a good layout to be able to de-scope and keep the key features that were technologically possible, that were possible in the time constraints we had. So we actually had an MVP that fulfilled our goals of being easy to use and so forth. So in terms of like the hackathon overall in general, like we had some wins and we also had some learnings. So like the main win really was getting to play around with new technology. Some of you may have seen Alex and Henny playing around with the gyroscope technology. Luckily their phones weren't broken in the process during the day, and it was cool to see that they then got implemented into something that was useful for the goals of our app. And in terms of like the learnings, a really big one was UX design. Going through those iterations was super important for informing the things that were important for people using our app, and that informed a lot of the changes that we made in terms of how information was displayed and so forth. And also the API security was a big learning curve, mainly for Alex, because there were so many ways of going about doing that, so finding the right one for our application and our deployment was really, really important. Cool, so if we were to turn this into an enterprise and move forward, like what are some of the things that we change? So we might change the way that we develop it, obviously from something, vanilla web technologies to something a bit more modern. One of the big changes would be having our own API to handle all the service calls, so that you're not just handling all of these different calls in the front end, so just separating the concerns out a bit for long-term scalability and maintainability. A big one would be improving the sort of sobriety detection system that we've got. So doing more research into the kind of data that we want from the gyroscope, if there's any other data that we might want to get, like how fast people are walking and so forth. So we do a lot more research into that to improve the safety of the application and the usefulness of the data coming back in. So that would be a really big improvement. And then there's just general things like improving security when you go into a bigger app that you're pushing out, and sponsored search and app options, so future revenue, partnering with bars and so forth would be really, really good for revenue. Cool, so now we will welcome your questions. That was amazing. I want to know, the difference between being drunk and dancing very poorly. It's a very fine line. I'm not sure how you're going to detect that. Judges, questions?
I'm trying to think. It was very good. Obviously, being Irish, I'm going to be stereotypical and go, I download it straight away. Definitely have, and probably the most of us have needed to get home sooner anyway, so great idea. I don't really have too many questions. It'd be more the security, I guess, side of it. If you were, downloading it, let's say for a teenage person who was going to go out and start drinking, and their parents were relying heavily on this from another security aspect, kind of how would you get around the, I guess, nooks and crannies of the responsibility of it being put on you and it being just an app, as in willy-nilly kind of out there just to help. Does that make sense? Sorry.
Yeah, I
guess the main thing would be that it's just sort of linking people up with bars and clubs, right? Those bars and clubs are still going to be checking for IDs, making sure that underage people can't get it. So we're really just sort of linking people quite quickly with these apps, with these locations, and the onus is still on these locations to check if they're letting any underage people in.
Just the enabler.
Yeah, I mean, like the main goal from the customer point of view is obviously to get to good places to go and socialize and drink, but I'm just building some of that responsibility side of things so it doesn't become too enabling. People that have gone too far was really, really important to us, and that's how we kind of pivoted the project as we discussed those things. So, yeah.
Great.
Are there any limitations with the gyroscope API?
So currently the limitation we have is that we're using a Chrome-based API. So that means anything running Chromium, we can access the gyroscope on a mobile device. We haven't looked into the WebKit, Safari, Apple gyroscope. So that's the current limitation on the gyroscope.
I'm aware at one point you were looking to do like bottle shops, like liquor land. Is that still part of the future scope?
Yeah, so eventually we would be listing bars and liquor stores, but in terms of the API implementation, that was a lot harder in terms of the asynchronous calls and lining them up so that we could display them once they were both finished.
Just as a new group working together with a whole lot of people who never met before, how did that go? What were your greatest challenges as a group coming together? Like, you know, any arguments?
It's a really ironic question because actually we did all know each other. It was unintentional because we came to Create Camp with the guidance being find new people and create a new team. So we're like, okay, we'll probably like go in pairs or something and go with new people for the rest of it. And then at the start of the camp, we're like, all right, all the new people who don't have teams yet, go to this area. And we all went there. And very quickly, we were the only people left. So we all sat back down again.
Were there any challenges with that, given you all knew each other?
I think overall it went quite smoothly, yeah. I guess the only challenge, I guess, if anything, in terms of teamwork was just our process in terms of we very intentionally designed separate modules, very separate areas of the app. And then a lot of today was about integrating it and bringing it all together. So it was interesting having those discussions, kind of figuring out now we have this functionality, how do we make them all crosstalk and work together? But we did get through it, and I think it was a really, really interesting and really fun, engaging process. Yeah.
Sure. Well done.
Well done, you. Well done, all of you. I think you've earned some pizza. Do you think so, Yekti?
Yep.
Yeah, so we're going to break for pizza while the judges, not judges, panelists do their thing. But before we break for pizza and have a bit of socialising and a little bit of relaxing, we've got to do the clap. 3, 2, 1. Yeah!
Create Camp is our version of a hackathon. It's a weekend-long event where we invite the brightest and best of New Zealand's tertiary students to get together for the weekend, and we try and give them an experience that's sort of like working life. So they get together in teams, they are working on a project and are hopefully going to deliver something by the end of the day on Sunday. And they have all the usual kind of angst and frustration that you get when you're working to deadlines in teams, which is very similar to what life is like at work. So yeah, it's just a really great opportunity for employers to see students in action as well. So the team dynamics and who are the leaders and who are the people who just quietly get stuff done. So we have a lot of mentors who come along to help out the students, but they're also kind of scouting out and making sure that they have their eye on the best talent as well. What is your name?
My name is Bill.
Okay, hi Bill. And you work for Pushback.
I'm Bridie.
And whereabouts do you work?
Vet radar.
Here I am with
Michael Zito.
Who works at
Timely. I'm Simon.
Oh, okay.
So,
and
third test?
Yeah, good. And who do you work for?
I work for Lineax.
I'm here with Oliver, who works at Pushpad. And what are you doing giving up your weekend here at Create Camp?
Because I think it's important to prepare the next generation of engineers, give them a chance, give them a taste of what it's like once they finish a degree, and also it's a lot of fun.
I'm here because quite a few years ago I was an intern myself. Summer of Tech gave me my first big break, gave me my first corporate job, so this is my way of giving back.
Really helping out students is amazing. Giving back. I was an intern 2 years ago, 2018. I went through Create Camp myself and found it to be really rewarding. Having done a degree where there wasn't much in the way of group projects, it was really nice to see what it's like to work with other people.
Developing something called Tidely. It's an app that helps track the tides at various beaches around New Zealand. So for instance, if you're going for a beach walk or if you're trying to release a boat into the ocean and you don't know what the tides are like at the beaches near you, you can simply type your beach into Tidely and it will tell you exactly what the tides are like for this day or any other day.
So our team decided to go for something we all have, which is money. If you've recently needed to exchange money, but had no idea where to go to get the best rate, that's exactly the problem we're tackling.
My name is Muffin Goldstein. The goal is to design an app that can help any person. In our case, specifically to university female students that want to reach a place from A to B and want to feel safe, and if possible, wants to do it with a walking body.
So our team name is called Crayon with a K, not a C. And then our problem is we want to solve where we can find coffee within the budget and also within the location in New Zealand.
My name is Bucket It, and our idea is Bucket It. It's a web app where our target audience is travel enthusiasts and their problem is that they are unsure where to go and can't remember where they want to visit.
What we're making is an app called Sloshed, which is designed to help people on their nights out. Now, the whole idea is generally that if you're out, perhaps on the town or looking for a liquor store, the app will help you find bars, clubs, that sort of thing as quickly as possible.
Our idea is that with COVID and everything that's happened, a lot of New Zealanders got out and about and were walking around New Zealand and experiencing their local parks and whatnot. We wanted to create a system that would essentially give a catered experience to that and would help you find local kind of spots and parks and whatnot.
Our idea is we're doing an app where you would compare trade prices of a specific product with retail prices of that product.
So we are team Aotearoa. At the moment, tourists and even locals are not being involved with NZ tourism, so we want to help this reinvigorate the industry. So by building a simple web app, that will promote the community involvement and make domestic tourism more accessible and viable to the New Zealanders.
This is Team Windy Sales. So we're trying to connect YoPros with local cafes, restaurants and experiences.
This is not your first Create Camp.
No, it's not.
Why do you come to Create Camp?
I just really like the vibe. It's a very I've done a couple of different hackathons, and this is a very different vibe because it's got quite a strong mentorship focus.
I think it gives such a good experience, and it's such a stress-free zone. You get to be open to new technologies, no pressure.
Today, in my entire life, I haven't worked with such a great team before.
Yeah.
We are communicating really well. We are brainstorming. There is no one that is right or wrong. We are all contributing the best.
A lot of the people I'm talking to are actually putting up roles that I'm interested in, so I can have a quick chat about it, and they get to see what kind of person I am, and they get to see how I work under pressure.
And one last thing, what tips would you give your future manager on how to manage you? So imagine you get an internship, what tips would you give the person who's responsible for mentoring and sort of looking after you?
I think just openly and honestly respond to my questions, because I am a person who likes to ask if I don't know things, or I like to clarify what is out of my scope and what things I can do. So if you see that I'm getting stuck at something, just guide me and don't give me the answers. Let me think a little bit, and then if I get really stuck, just help me.
I guess the first thing would be having a strong first couple of days, right, when getting the interns in. Get all the interns to know each other because you're all coming in at the same time, so you know each other at the same experience level. So having that sort of friend group vibe among all the interns.
And you have been a supporter of ours for a long time. This won't be the first year that you've taken interns. Have you got a tip for new managers of interns that they should maybe be thinking about as they bring on students?
Well, what I've found works best is to bring an intern into an established team. So if you have a one-to-one mentor-intern relationship, the growth of that intern is limited to what that one mentor can do. Whereas when they've got a team to work with them, they can bounce ideas off different people and also get an idea for how different people have different ideas.
Giving as much support and time as you can. As a mentor, I think it's quite hard to continue doing your usual work while having someone to mentor as well. It can be quite intimidating being in a workplace where everyone's working hard and it's your first job. So definitely just lots of support.
So we're here with ANZ today, one of our amazing sponsors. ANZ is our platinum sponsor in Bronny. This is Emma and Ash, and we're going to ask them some really hard questions today. So, first on my list of awesome questions is, do you have some top tips for students wanting jobs?
I think the top tip that I can give to students, especially if you've got the likes of Ish and I from big organisations, come talk to us. It's not hard, we're not scary.
You don't bite?
We don't bite often. But we'd like to meet you. We'd like to actually understand what makes you tick, and we're also interested in what's driving you, and we want to get the right people to answer.
Yeah, adding on to that, conversation is the only way you do that. Conversations are worth 1,000 virtual interactions, one conversation, and we really get to know who you are.
It's more than a CV.
Which is why I guess meet and greet is such a really important thing for you guys, eh?
Yeah, we love meet and greet.
Yes. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to flip that one on its head and ask you to share your top tips for employers that maybe haven't joined Summer of Tech. What would you say to them? How to help them maybe?
I think the first and foremost is do it. The actual Summer of Tech process is seamless. You have a great time, you work with great people. I couldn't rate this more because we've had the best talent come through Summer of Tech through this process.
Awesome. Trust the process. Just trust it. It might feel a little uncomfortable, waiting for office day and coming to giving up your time to come to these events, but it's really worthwhile doing, and have fun. We have a lot of fun doing this, and all our people from all our teams have a lot of fun. So it's just a really great thing to be involved in.
You guys feel like you bond with your team a little stronger when you do stuff like this?
Very much so. We're a strong team anyhow, but coming together because we're looking for the right people for our team. We're committed to this.
That's a lovely answer. Right, on that, why did you sponsor someone with tech?
I'm passionate about it. I came through an intern program, not summer of tech, but an intern program, so I really value bringing people in and giving opportunities to people to have that. So sponsoring summer of tech allows us to do more of that and be involved in it more. And be a sponsor of it, lets us go, hey, we do it, and role model our own values, I guess.
And also, people who work at Summer of Tech are awesome. And so we feel that we're just part of the larger family, so we're working together to get the best outcomes for the students. So it's not like we're coming along with all these gifts, it's like we're working together to make this work.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we feel the same way. It's nice to even get down on the grind and work with you guys and come up with creatives and do campaigns and stuff like that. It's super fun for us too. So.
And you make it easy for us.
Yes, we like easy.
Awesome. Okay, so to the nitty-gritty. What are the roles that you have available this year, and where are they? Just so there's some students out there that might want to have a look.
This is my favourite question, almost my favourite question. This year we've gone big again, and this year we're including Auckland. So we've got Wellington roles and Auckland roles, and we've also got pretty much any technology/digital kind of role you can think of. We've got developer roles, data roles, business analyst roles, security analyst roles. We're a bank, so if you like security, there is a lot of work in that space, and it's really an interesting space. Things in data, again, bank, lots of data, lots of exciting stuff. Production support, testing roles. I can't even remember how many there are because I've lost count, because they just keep on coming. But I think our latest count is at 24 or 25.
Well, you can find them on the platform anyway. Super exciting that there's so much variety. I think you guys were saying something before where even if you get into a role, it doesn't mean that you can't learn about it.
So yeah, we've got, let's say you take a UX design role and you're put into the UX design Centre of Excellence, but let's say you're really interested in development and mobile development. There's no reason why you can't talk to us, and we'll organise for you to go spend a day or a couple of days with that team and that experience, so you get that cross-skilled approach and just get to try things out.
Awesome. So ANZ, big tech company, really? Lots of different options and variety of things to do and learn. Huge thank you to ANZ for sponsoring Summer of Tech. Look, we couldn't do things like this without you. We put so much time and dedication into it as well, which it's just awesome. So big ups for ANZ. Thank you very much. Woo.
Only a couple. Thought there would have been more. Put up your hand if it's the first time you've ever used Lean Canvas. A few more. Put up your hand if it's the first time you've ever user tested before. A handful more. See, the whole point of this weekend is that you are maximising your learning. So it's pretty exciting to see that you are doing that. You're learning some new things. Come up, judges. You have these special seats out the front. I know. I've got some thank yous to do while they make their way up. Many thank yous, in fact. Some of these people up here, is it quite high? Okay, okay. These are our sponsors up here. This is a pretty big deal to be sponsored in these times. It's real weird out there, and I feel for you because who knows what's going to happen as a result of COVID in terms of jobs for all of you. We're working pretty hard to try and find as many jobs as possible, but these amazing people, including ANZ, who have sponsored this entire Create Camp, pretty awesome that they are sponsoring Summer of Tech at all, given what's going on in the world. So we super appreciate them. You know, this isn't a slide that we just put up because you do, because they're sponsors. These are people that we've actually got real relationships with, particularly those two at ANZ. So yeah, we really appreciate it. And let's give a hand to all our sponsors for doing this. And quite a thank Grid Auckland too. So they gave us this entire venue for the weekend for free. So that's pretty damn awesome. I'm going to make a clap. Just one clap. Okay. Well, yeah. Okay. We're sort of innovating now. Okay. Right, one clap. One clap for our panelists, everyone, please. 3, 2, 1. All right. One clap for our mentors, please. 3, 2, 1. Some people were out there, and I thought you'd be getting better at this. Yeah, mentors, you've given up your entire weekend, many of you, to come and support what we're doing here with Summer of Tech, with the students. I think it's pretty awesome that you do that. The panelists, thank you. Here we are on a Sunday evening, and you're out supporting the work of these students. And all of you students, you're amazing. I think what you can do in a very short period of time with a bunch of people that a lot of times you don't even know is pretty phenomenal. You've got amazing creativity. I think it's incredible what you got done this weekend. So give yourselves one big clap. 3, 2, 1. All right. But I think I'm going to stop there because you've got some interesting things to talk about. Maybe some prizes to give out. Maybe some props. Who's going first? What's that? I didn't hear the joke. Could repeat. No? Not worth repeating? Like I'm missing out.
Good evening, and well done everyone. Must have been a really awesome, intense weekend. Tonight it's my pleasure to give out the winner for the best tech. Now this team impressed us just with the sheer amount of APIs and data sources that it managed to use. Not only that, they included a bit of web scraping from some of our close friends here. So they used a large number of APIs. They chose a language which is not that common in this room. So most technical staff used JavaScript, but this particular team thought that they would do something a bit different. And they had no lead technical mentor, so they didn't have anyone to help guide them on the technical design of the work for a big part of it, and yet they still managed to get a working app. Not only that, they looked at accessibility and responsiveness of their app as well to make it really inclusive to everybody. And I think probably by now you can probably guess that the winning team for this is We Rate You. Please come up and receive your prize.
Is that your team, Amy? Oh, maybe.
Am I giving them out? Come on.
Well done, awesome. That's so cool.
Congratulations.
Wait, did we get photos? Should we get photos? Should we of the? Can you just go back and just? No, this isn't awkward. This isn't awkward at all.
Look natural.
Look natural. In front of all those judges, like just look so pleased. And yep. Yay, tech! Python rules the world. Awesome. Thank you. All right.
So the next one we had was for best design, and we deliberated on this and said that the team who came up actually put together a really good presentation pack in general. We really liked the fact that he had lots of different elements, like it worked on every application, it incorporated Uber. It initially started out as just getting maybe a little bit messy, but actually then turned into something taken a little bit more serious and looked at the security kind of element of it. And yeah, so I think we all probably know who this one goes to. It's our fellow, probably getting drunk later on, Slotheads.
So awesome. Stay there though, because we need that photo, remember? Awkward photo, don't make it awkward. Don't make it awkward. Yeah, where are you going to stand? Yeah, stand. Sort of, yeah, all together with the panelists. They're your future employers after all. Awesome. Cheers. Awesome. Well done.
So I'm lucky last. So the app, the winner for this one is all around best impact. And what we considered is impact to us, impact to technology, impact to society. So one of the things in the times that we live in, it's really important that we just don't think of ourselves, but of everybody else around us, and that we've all got a part to play in society, that we look after each other. This group had a great presentation. They were very transparent about their challenges, what they learned, their findings, where they actually saw this going in the future. So this is probably no surprise, but the winner is Walk Buddy, and it's the Muffin team.
So we'd like to say big congratulations to you all, and especially this team, because you've done fabulous. And we've got a little prize pack for you all. So, sorry, no hands. That will actually give them to you. And in these, for each of you, ANZ and AWS have sponsored some exam vouchers for your AWS Cloud Practitioner certification. So we've got each of your names, and what this means is that you can go study, because we know you love studying, and this will give you a voucher to take your Cloud Practitioner certification, which means you can understand AWS, what the cloud is, how that works, security, pricing models, which is an awesome thing to have on your CV and talk to employees about. So yeah, I don't know who this is I stole it from, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, and we've got more and more gifts to give out. So we've got, oh sorry, yeah, hang on, the photo. Did you get the photo? Got the photo. It's so awesome, that photo. You what? What? I can't hear you. Patricia. Más tarde. ¿Qué cosa? No entiendo. No, bueno, está bien. We've got some gifts too for our panelists. There's Yekti. She's to say thank you very much for your time and your expertise. We very much appreciate it. Can we get a round of applause? Oh, okay. Marcus already opened his like a kid at Christmas.
I sold it.
You sold it?
Yeah.
Oh, so they all know that they're getting AWS exam vouchers. It's not true. Yeah, let's give them. Why don't you do it, Yekti, because I'll keep on talking. Thank you very much. You can sit down now. Your hard work is done. And the last. Do you want to sit down? Your hard work is done now. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so awesome. Thank you for coming, being here. The last people we really want to thank are those mentors. So we have a bunch of gifts for mentors, and again, Yekti, looking to you to know where those are. Yep, follow Yekti. So I would like a person from each of your teams to follow Yekti. Go on, one person in each team. You can do it. Yep, you've been working well as teams all weekend. You're going to grab a bunch of those prizes, and you're going to make sure that every single mentor is taking away a thank you pack with chocolate and other things like hats, for example, And yeah, just give those mentors a very warm handshake. Let's give them another round of applause right now. Yeah, the gathering, mentors do not go home without a brown bag. The last bit I want to thank is Ella. I want to thank you. Thanks, Geordie. Thank you, Yekti. And thanks to me, I guess. I hope you had a great Create Camp. Thank you all for coming, and good luck with all those internships. Come see us if you want any more information about any of the things. Yeah, I can tell you that it is looking a little bit harder out there in terms of finding jobs this year, but as I said earlier in the weekend, you're in a great position having come to Create Camp and showing off your mad skills. I'm sure that you are in a really good position to find an internship this summer. So very good luck to all of you, and hopefully see you again soon at Meet and Greet. See you later.